under
God,
God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
liberty and
liberty
justice
and
for all.
justice for all. Okay, I thank everybody for joining tonight, and I'm going to immediately turn it over to Dr. Sheep.
So thank you, Ms. Wallace. It just seems like the last month of the school year is one where we get to, in addition to the regular work of the board, to recognize our students, our faculty and staff. Last week, we recognized our retirees and our tenure candidates. A couple weeks back, we recognized our student artists. And today, we'll recognize the reason that we do everything that we do, which is our students' academic success. So without any further ado, I'm going to toss the ball over to Mr. McElduff and Ms. Maldonado from the Highland Falls Intermediate School so that they can recognize the top 5 students from the Highland Falls class of 2021. That would be the O'Neill class of 2025.
All right, good evening. Thank you, Dr. Shibo. I appreciate the introduction, and we are just as excited as you are to present these awards to our top 5 outstanding students. So without further ado, let me begin. So I would first call up Quinn Manning and like to present Quinn with her award, which she will get tomorrow, if you can see that. And I had asked her teachers for the past few years that have worked alongside her to write some words. So I'm going to read those words because yes, she earned this award for her academics and her grade point average, but it's so much more than that. So I just want to share the kind remarks that her teachers gave her. So Quinn is kind, hardworking, and driven. She is thorough and detailed-oriented with her work and always aims to improve. Quinn deeply cares for others, as is evident by her involvement with community service, as well as her selflessness and willing to go above and beyond to support her classmates and friends. Quinn is constantly taking the time to think about others, and she is constantly contemplating and then putting her ideas of how to make the world a better and more welcoming place into action. And that's Quinn Manning. So thank you, Quinn. Great job. I'd like to virtually call up Emma Swenson, I'm sorry. So Emma, I would be handing you this award as well. So Emma has been a great addition to our HFIS community. Her soft demeanor is illuminated by her thoughtful mind and her drive to take on all tasks with the utmost effort and determination. Her reflective thinking shines through in her written work as well as her artistic expression. Emma's hard work and perseverance will open up many opportunities for her in the years to come. Her gentleness and patience are words I would use to describe Emma's journey through relearning her clarinet this year, and she was an absolute pleasure to have in my class. So that is for Emma. I'd next like to call up Josh Lozado. So Josh, we'll be presenting you with this award. I didn't see Josh a few minutes ago, but maybe he jumped on late. I knew a couple people did come, but his teachers had raving reviews, so I'd like to read those for Josh right now. So Josh is a model student, both academically and integrity-wise. Even though this is his first year at HFIS, he stands out as a friendly and polite student who always gives 100%. Josh's use of logic and problem solving continues to serve him well across all subject areas. We know Josh will continue to dedicate himself to his studies and will exceed at anything he puts his mind to. That's Josh Lozado. I'd next like to call up Espazia Fatsis. So Espazia, I would be handing you this award as well, so congratulations. And here are some kind words from the staff. Espazia is a very conscientious and diligent student who is never satisfied with anything less than the mastery of the skills and content being taught. She is always curious and wants to learn more, often exceeding expectations and standards. Espazia has a bright future, and we are excited to see her grow over the next 4 years. Listening to Espazia play her trumpet has been such a highlight of my year, and seeing what a responsible young lady she is, the icing on the cake to our musical department. So nice job, Espazia.
Sorry, thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. I'll hand this to you. You'll get this. Don't worry. And last but not least, I'd like to call up Leela Soroka. So Leela, hopefully I will see you tomorrow. Hand this to you. So her teacher said Leela is one of the most conscientious and hardest working students that they have ever came across in all subjects, and she takes great pride in everything she hands in. Leela is passionate about her education and takes all of her classes very seriously. She is a pleasure to have, and we will miss her next year. And she is quite the lovely flute player, and she has blossomed into a joy in all of her band classes. So, Leela, that is for you, and that is our top 5 at HFIS. Cannot wait to see all of you next year continue to grow.
Thanks, Mr. Mack. Thank you.
Congratulations to you all.
And in case you've never been to one of these before, those of us from HFIS, we'll have cupcakes for you tomorrow too. So that's, 8 years of hard work gets you a cupcake. But
And the
we're
presenter.
looking to see what.
The presenter gets one too. I was just curious.
No, I don't think so, sir.
I'll bring
But,
it.
we are looking to see what you're going to be able to do at the high school next year, and the change you're going to be able to make, and the positive impact. So congratulations to all of you. At this time, I'd like to call up Ms. Brand and Ms. Haberman to introduce the James I. O'Neill class of 2021 top 10 students.
I first wanted to start us off by saying welcome to everybody. And, this is one of the best nights of the year because it gets to celebrate. I mean, often, the valedictorian, salutatorian, obviously it's a tremendous accomplishment, to do what you've done in your time in school. But I want to say that, for the top 10 students, like, you all are the best of the best. You are the cream of your class in terms of the way that you have risen to the top, that you've consistently performed. But what is going to be readily apparent for every single one of you is that you are so much more than just students, great students at that. I mean, you contribute to our school in every single way. And so in that way, you are outstanding school citizens. And so for me, it's such a pleasure to honor you this evening because you really do, you are the ones that make the school run. And you are the ones that show, when you commit yourself to excellence. And for you 8th graders, you'll hear all the things that are part of, when you commit yourself to excellence, you're excellent in everything you do. And really where you're all going and how you're all going to blossom in the future, is not just, a result of what you've done, but because of what you've done. Your willingness to put effort into everything, and to make, other people better through your work and to make yourself the best you can be is truly, truly a pleasure to recognize. So that I just wanted to preface before we got onto the actual descriptions of each of you. And so the things that we'll be reading to you are weaving together narratives of what all of your teachers, or not all, but many of your teachers throughout your high school career, and sometimes even advisors and or coaches have said about you over the past, their experiences with you over the past 4 years. If you would like, I would absolutely be happy to give you a copy of this as well when we give you your certificate, either in school tomorrow or in the near future. So to start us off is Mrs. Haberman.
Hi, good evening. This is my favorite board meeting of the year. It truly is. I want to congratulate our rising 9th graders on their achievements, and I look forward to meeting them and working with them all. And we're going to start off with our great group, and we're going to start at number 10 for the class of 2021. We have Amy Lily Albertson. Lily maintained a 98.82 average while participating in JROTC, soccer, softball, robotics, the fitness club, National Honor Society, and other activities during her time at O'Neill. Aside from identifying her as a fantastic student with a relentless work ethic, every person who shared a thought about Lily was effusive in their praise of her as a student. So many teachers wrote how Lily is a kind, compassionate student. One teacher mentioned, Lily is a hardworking, intelligent, reflective, and kind person with a wicked softball swing. Lily leads with her actions, and that is the best kind of leader. Another teacher added, she has a quiet strength to her, and when she does not know you are watching, you also see she is a great friend to others. Her softball coach shared, she is an athlete that a coach wants to duplicate. She takes constructive criticism, she cheers on her teammates, and is a complete team player, never once putting herself before others. It has been great working with her, and I will miss her next year as a leader on my team. Teachers also described her as a leader that supported others, making comments such as, she was never shy to help another student. Both of the JROTC teachers spoke very highly of her as well. One said, Lily stood out to me at JROTC summer camp. She was competing in an Iron Women event. I was blown away with her drive and sneaky good athleticism that was bundled up in her warm, humble spirit. Even those who never taught Lily commented on the power of her bright personality. Clearly, Lily was more than just a top 10 student academically, and we know that these skills will take her far in the future when she is at Boston University. Congratulations, Lily.
Number 9 in the class of 2021 is Justice Crow. Justice gave far more to O'Neill than just his 98.92 average. He was central to our arts program, both with his stellar saxophone playing and with all the ways he graced audiences on the stage with his singing and acting. Justice's work did not stop there, though. He was an active participant on our varsity cross country and crew teams, played for the jazz ensemble, was a safe school ambassador, the co-president for the drama club, and an active member of our GSA. This member of the National Honor Society truly took advantage of so many opportunities. Additionally, every teacher who commented on Justice could not say enough about the fun energy he brings to every room that he is in. One teacher said, his energy and spirit are unmatched by anyone. Another teacher commented, Justice is one of my all-time favorite humans. The flair for the dramatic that he brought to every class discussion made our lessons better in so many ways. He brought wonderful perspectives to a variety of topics and was always engaging. His music teacher shared what an outstanding musician and role model Justice was for the other students. Even a substitute teacher noticed his leadership skills in the band. She said, quote, Justice would sometimes lead and direct the band through their musical numbers. The band members always gave Justice the utmost respect and admiration. Most notable about Justice is his willingness to always be himself. His drama director put it best. Justice has never exactly been shy, but watching him grow in confidence over the last few years has been a joy. With Justice, what you see is what you get. Whether he's supporting platinum hair, rainbow Crocs, or bright red fingernails, he is unabashedly himself at all times. He has worked to foster an atmosphere in the drama club where everyone feels at home, and his legacy of inclusion will last long after he leaves. Justice truly brought his energy and enthusiasm to every endeavor at O'Neill. We wish him the best of luck next year at Ithaca College.
Coming in at number 8 for the class of 2021 is Abigail Bellocchio. While maintaining a 99.06 average, Abby was able to keep herself involved at O'Neill. As the president of the Anime Club and as a member of the Spanish Club, Academic League, and National Honor Society, Abby left her mark on O'Neill. Her teachers all noted her bright spirit, her maturity, and her integrity. One math teacher shared how Abby would rather learn something interesting than receive a high score on an exam. A social studies teacher shared, Abby has a great spirit. She brings such positivity to the classroom every day. Her smile is infectious. It puts a smile on your face as well. She has a zest for life and a unique voice that she is not afraid to share with the world. It is the overall positivity that really made her stand out from all the students around her. People just enjoy being in her presence. Even when everybody was working remotely, Abby impressed people. Her music teacher commented, when we were away from school working remotely, Abby and her fellow classmates insisted on spending extra time in class and forfeiting their study hall. Now that is a special student. Additionally, the Anime Club advisor has enjoyed watching her as a leader. He said, she is an inspiration and a model on how to run a club. We wish Abby all the best as she moves forward. We know that she will bring her bright spirit to the University of Arkansas and beyond. Congratulations, Abby.
Natalie Pushlar is number 7 of the class of 2021. While earning a grade point average of 99.67, Natalie has truly made an impression on the teachers and students in the school. One social studies teacher said it best, quote, "Natalie is a quiet student that is so kind and willing to do whatever a teacher asks of her. Natalie is an outstanding writer and devotes time to extracurriculars, all the while being successful in the classroom. She's a great skier, devotes time to her environmental and science clubs, has been an integral member of the recycling program here at O'Neill, and is a member of the Red Cross Club as well. In addition to these activities, Natalie was also a strong member of our varsity alpine skiing and crew teams. Other teachers spoke of Natalie's kindness to others and her desire to really understand the course material. She is driven to do well, but never in a way that stymies others. A math teacher shared, her commitment to learning is refreshing. While most students have retreated behind their screens this year, she has continued her thirst for knowledge. It has been an absolute pleasure to work with her. One of her Spanish teachers commented how Natalie would have conversations with her in Spanish just so she could speak to her Spanish-speaking grandmother more easily. Finally, a science teacher stated, she has a love of learning, works tirelessly toward her goals, and always has an upbeat attitude. Natalie has left an indelible mark on the faculty and staff, and we all wish her well as she moved on to SUNY Binghamton. Best of luck, Natalie.
Number 6 in the senior class is Isabel Lima. While Isabel earned a 100.282 average, she also worked incredibly hard to be a leader and difference maker at O'Neill. Aside from being the captain of both her JV and varsity volleyball teams, Isabel is part of the Interact Club, Red Cross Club, S2S, Art Club, and the National Honor Society. Isabel's commitment to every endeavor really stood out to her coaches and teachers. Her coaches commented that she is one of the most hardworking and dependable young ladies they have ever coached. She truly is someone who leads her fellow teammates by example. Her club advisor added, she has also become an outstanding member of the Red Cross Club. As this year's secretary, she has planned meetings, completed agendas, and meeting minutes, and has had an overall passion for helping others and serving her community. She is a great older sister, taking care of her siblings, and should be so proud of herself and what she has been able to accomplish here at O'Neill. Other teachers commented on what a great student Isabel is and how she leads by example with everything she does. Her Spanish teacher stated, Isabel is another one of my all-time favorite Spanish students. She's always prepared, always does her best, and always strives to keep improving her Spanish. She consistently has something insightful to say in class, and she does everything to her very best. Isabel's presence will be missed in the O'Neill hallways, but we know she will go on to do great things at Villanova University. Congratulations, Isabel.
And number 5, we have Adelaide Crow. I guess this runs in families, huh, guys? With a 100.36 average, Adelaide's academic prowess is unquestionable, but her contributions to the school did not end there. Adelaide was involved in numerous clubs, activities, and sports throughout her high school career. Most notable was how she managed to lead the JROTC, even during a pandemic, as this year's battalion commander. Her JROTC teachers could not say enough about her. One commented, Adelaide is kind, funny, smart, well-spoken, and can accomplish anything she puts her mind to. Adelaide is the teammate anyone could wish to have. Another stated, she has always been a cadet that we could count on. Her drive and determination led her to be promoted to the highest ranked cadet in the JROTC program. Beyond JROTC, Adelaide was actively involved in many other clubs and sports. She competed on the varsity level in alpine skiing, cross country, lacrosse, and crew. She has also been a part of the JROTC rifle team, S2S, and is the president of the National Honor Society. Teachers all spoke so highly of Adelaide's positive attitude, her drive to learn, and her willingness to go above and beyond in the classroom. One stated, quote, I feel that she makes a point of getting the most out of every class she attends. She helps to make the classroom environment a place for learning to flourish. Another added, she loves to challenge herself academically and has a great attitude in the classroom. As a member of the class of 2025 for the United States Military Academy at West Point, Adelaide is bound for great things both as a student and as a person. We look forward to learning of her future accomplishments. Best of luck, Adelaide.
With a 101.46 average, Ella Collins is our number 4 senior this year. Ella has shown both in and out of the classroom these last 4 years. As this year's OCIAA Senior Scholar Athlete, Ella's prowess in athletics has distinguished her from her peers. During her time as a Raider, Ella has competed in volleyball, softball, and cheerleading, and has been the captain of the varsity basketball team the last 2 years. She has also been involved with many clubs, including but not limited to Interact, the Fashion Club, S2S, the Student Advisory Committee, Red Cross Club, and National Honor Society. She has also won numerous academic honors and is a part of the first cohort of AP scholars. Her teacher commented, Ella is intellectually curious and intrinsically motivated, as well as a consummate leader and teammate. Her research study on cadavers was fascinating, and the work she did was exemplary. Most notable about Ella is that she listens intently, and as a result, asks meaningful questions which benefit both teachers and classmates. She makes a class better. Other teachers noted her positive and generous personality. A science teacher shared, every week I asked Ella to write about how her weekend was, and every week Ella responded that she was grateful for her time with her family. Ella always had a cup mostly full instead of a cup mostly empty perspective. Her ability to lead through example and to be a positive force in every environment will be hard to replace. We know, however, that these wonderful qualities will serve her well at SUNY Binghamton. Congratulations, Ella.
Number 3 in the class of 2021 with a GPA of 102.24 is Marie Gregory. Marie is someone who the mention of her name evokes words like genius, brilliant, amazing. When one looks at her long list of activities and outstanding school performance, you can understand these reactions to her. Marie has been in myriad clubs since her freshman year. Aside from being the vice president of the National Honor Society, she has been a part of Academic League, Chorus, Fashion Club, Literary Magazine, Mock Trial, the Newspaper Club, the Podcasting Club, and so many more. In the classroom, however, is where she shines the most. Teachers speak of her unrelenting intellect, her desire to know, and her serious approach to all of her academics. One math teacher commented on how she is an outside-the-box thinker. A social studies teacher was also effusive with her praise, stating, quote, Marie is one of the brightest students I have ever met. Marie asks questions, demands to learn, and has a joy of reading, which is so rare to see in high schoolers. Another English teacher echoed this sentiment about her reading and added, quote, she makes a class better with her insight and knowledge. She is also humble, reflective, self-aware, and kind. Marie is destined for great things. One person on the IRB committee for her AP research project even stated, quote, she will be a Rhodes Scholar one day, after she presented her idea. Marie's work as an AP scholar showed that this could absolutely be the case. We are excited to see all that Marie is able to accomplish at Fordham University and beyond. We wish her the best of luck. Congratulations, Marie.
The number 2 student for the class of 2021 is the talented and driven Jacqueline Evangelista. With a 103.434 GPA and an extensive extracurricular resume, Jacqueline modeled so many outstanding qualities. As she showed when she played Jo in the drama club's recent production of Little Women, Jacqueline creates her own gravitational pull. She is a presence on the stage, in the classroom, and in all endeavors she pursues. As the president of the drama club, she was a passionate advocate for them over the last 2 years. She has also been a formal and informal leader in so many other clubs and sports throughout her 4 years at O'Neill too. She ran cross country, played lacrosse and soccer, and acted as a captain on various teams. She also was a student council officer, participated on the student advisory committee, did the fashion club, and so many other activities at O'Neill. Most impressive about Jacqueline, however, is her unrelenting drive to give her absolute best effort in any endeavor she pursues. As one teacher stated, "I have known Jacqueline since August of her freshman year. Jacqueline always gives 150% to her classes, acting, sports, extracurriculars, etc. In fact, I don't quite know how she finds time to dedicate herself to all of her activities." Her other teachers spoke of her strong desire to learn and help others in the classroom. One math teacher noted, "She works hard at fully understanding the content and can explain the content to her peers in an easy to follow manner." Finally, the drama director praised Jacqueline by saying, "From the moment I met Jacqueline, I knew she was a force of nature. Whether she was portraying a woodland fairy, sassy sorority girl, elderly Scottish matron, tough as nails businesswoman, or literary hero, she brought a level of dedication and discipline to her work that is rarely seen in someone so young. Her wildly creative audition medleys each year have become the stuff of legend and were a treat that I'm not sure anyone will ever top. Clearly, Jacqueline is bound for great things and will continue to shine during her time at Vassar College. Break a leg, Jacqueline. Congratulations."
I just got to say, Jacqueline, go Brewers. And coming in at number one with a GPA of a measly 104.221 is Claire Kobelski. Claire has distinguished herself in so many ways throughout her times at O'Neill. She has actively participated in and led many clubs and sports. Her extracurricular club resume includes Fashion Club, Interact, Red Cross Club, S2S, Safe School Ambassadors, Student Council, and so much more. Usually, if Claire is in a club, she is also an officer of some kind. The same is true in athletics, where she was a captain of several teams, including varsity cheer and varsity softball. Claire was also a star in the arts, gracing us with fantastic performances on the stage in both our fall plays and spring musicals, and through her outstanding singing in the women's chorus. Her artistic accomplishments were enough to earn her the Orange County Senior Scholar Humanities Award. In the classroom, she is no less of a star. Her work for her AP research project was second to none. She is meticulous, thoughtful, dedicated, and reflective. Her English teacher observed, quote, "I'm hard-pressed to think of a single moment this year where Claire was anything short of exceptional, both as a student and as a human being. I've taught many young people with impressive intellects over the years, but how often do you see that coupled with tact, empathy, unassuming leadership, and unflagging optimism?" Another teacher and advisor shared, "Claire is exceptional. She just goes above and beyond in everything that she sets her mind to. She is also one of the kindest students that I've ever met. She wants to succeed, but also wants everyone else to be successful as well." Her kindness was also the focus of her drama director. Ms. Arneson stated, "Claire lights up any room she enters. Her smile combined with her positive work ethic made her an invaluable asset to the drama club. Yes, she has a stunning voice that has delighted us all. But what I appreciate most about Claire is how she makes everyone in the room feel valued. Her sincerity and her earnest desire to make everyone feel a part of the team is among her greatest talents. Rarely do we get to see such a special combination of intellect, kindness, and drive. Claire is someone who we are eager to watch make her mark both at Northeastern University and beyond. Best of luck, Claire." So congratulations to all of our top 10 students. We are so proud of what you've accomplished and look forward to how you distinguish yourself as alumni. Thank you.
Absolutely amazing. There are no words. Absolutely amazing. These GPAs, all the activities, we're all so proud. So thank you so much. Thank you for all your hard work and keep it up. Keep it up because it'll all pay off. So Dr. Shebush?
So our last honor, and I don't know if Ms. Brand wants me to put her on the spot or if she wants me to read, but our last honor is a recognition of a teacher, Tom Kinane. We were informed last month that Tom was selected as for one of the Mid-Hudson School Study Council Excellence in Teaching Awards. And Ms. Brand, would you like me to read? Do you want to read?
I don't have the reading in front of me, so if you would read, please.
Absolutely. First, I want to thank Ms. Brand and Dr. Theodore for continually recognizing and actually submitting the nominations for our outstanding faculty, staff, leaders, board members. Over the past 4 years, they've been instrumental in making sure that individuals are recognized. But this time's about Tom. We did get the opportunity to have a photo with Tom today. We interrupted his class like 3 weeks ago. His students gave him a little bit of applause at that. But if it's okay, if anyone will indulge me, I'd like to read the nomination letter that does not do justice to who Tom is, but it certainly got him an award, even if it doesn't do justice. So over the past years, and I'm reading with the voice of Ms. Brand, if you can close your eyes and imagine. Over the past 4 years, I've had the privilege to work with Tom Kinane as band director, the Unified Arts Department coordinator, and our resident tech guy. I guess you can add sports sound guy too now. Mr. Kinane is a tireless worker who never shies away from a challenge and actively advocates for his department, students, and his program. He's the epitome of a team player, always going above and beyond the call of duty to assist the administration and others to make our school better and our programs richer. On top of all of this, he is kind and compassionate. Truly, he's an ideal worker and colleague. From the moment I met him, Mr. Kinane stood out to me as someone who will put forth as much energy and effort as he can to make things work well. He's always looking for ways to get more involved, to improve systems, or to enhance the lives of students. For example, this past winter, Tom agonized over how to create a beautiful winter concert that highlighted our students. Tom and his colleagues spent at least 50 hours putting together a seamless, professional video that people got to watch from all over the country. Even months later, people are still making comments about it. Tom's efforts are not solely for his program, though. For example, when confronted with the fact that our indoor sports would have no crowds cheering for them, Tom suggested he could create crowd noise through a special audio program he recently discovered. Not only did Mr. Kinane replicate a realistic sound atmosphere at each of our home sporting events, he also took it upon himself to be the announcer for these contests. The gym felt electric with all that he did. Tom did not simply name the problem, he created a solution for it. This characterizes everything he does. He is a problem solver and will work literally from 5 a.m. until he leaves. He may still be at school, I'm trying to see that. Often well after hours, to make O'Neill as dynamic as it possibly can be. And I'll just go off script for a second. I don't know of any school that actually does sound and play-by-play for softball, but Tom has made that possible, and it's wonderful. Mr. Kinane also approaches his band program in the same way. He works with students any chance he gets, but always does so in a patient and kind way. He meets students where they're at. If they want to devote 5 hours a day to practicing their instrument, he'll make time and or space to let them do so. If they want to just show up during band practice and contribute that way, he finds a part that will fit their ability and their work ethic. Tom's continuous mantra is inclusion. He wants students in the arts program because he believes that their experiences will enrich their lives. The consequence has been that our arts program and our music program in particular is one of the best in the region. Well, these other qualities are quite distinctive. What makes Tom truly special is his compassion. He will consistently look out for the well-being of others and do what is best for his colleagues and students, even if it puts a burden on him. The examples abound, but a couple exemplify Tom. Last year at our diploma distribution, he wanted to make the ceremony as special as possible. He proposed to have the students choose a song to walk up to as they received their diploma. After collecting all the songs and checking to make sure that they were school appropriate, thank you, Tom, for that, he created a song list so that each senior would be able to have their special moment while they picked up their diploma. It was a perfect touch, as some students smiled, others danced, and some even cried at hearing their songs. Tom's not just a big idea person. He lives his kindness. In faculty support meetings we began this year, Ms. Brand has been lucky enough to have him in her group. He's consistently been an individual to offer some advice, show empathy when someone needs it, and to bring levity with one of his many heartwarming anecdotes. It's the little things like this that make Tom a great teacher and an incredible human being. Tom's a model educator, fantastic person, supportive colleague, and a kind friend. He's one of the people that helps make O'Neill a second home to so many students, faculty, and staff. I recommend him with highest confidence, as I cannot think of an educator who more aptly fits the phrase excellence in teaching. Time is Brand. Congratulations, Tom.
And so very much deserved, Mr. Canine. Thank you for everything you do for all of us. All of us.
So that is the end of our presentations, Ms. Lawless.
Yes, it is. And I know the students probably have some studying to do or some sort of work. Don't laugh. But so feel free to go if you need to. But again, make sure you are around tomorrow, hopefully, to be able to get your certificate and your cupcake. So hopefully that'll work out. And again, congratulations to everybody. So thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Brand, for missing class. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Have a nice night.
You too.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Have a nice night.
Thank you.
And then I'd like to know if there's any Board of Education comments or questions. Looks like Faith is thinking. No? Okay. Dr. Sheboy? Dr. Sheboy?
Yes, I wasn't sure. if, Ms. Coco
I'm
had a
sorry.
question.
Do you
I
have a
saw-
question, Ned? I look for raised hands.
I did see Gus's hand.
Go ahead, Gus.
It's the new screen.
Have Ned go first. Go ahead, Ned.
Go ahead, get Gus.
I just want to make a comment. These grades are fantastic. I don't think my GPA was more than half of most of these students. So more power to them, and I think we're in very good hands. So anyway.
Absolutely. Okay, let's go back to Ned. Ned, can you hear us?
I didn't have my hand up. Ann.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay. Turning it over to you, Frank.
So again, as we indicated tonight, it is recognition season. We were fortunate to be able to recognize our student athletes as well as our humanities scholars. Unfortunately, the Val Sal got rained out. It will be rescheduled. It was a little different this year because we were out on the middle of a football field at Ocean in the sun, and then it rained. But they were very social distance. We weren't allowed to have our normal entourage. Was not a normal breakfast, but certainly was a nice way to recognize students for their successes, and I look forward to that. As I said, the Val Sal is scheduled for next week, and the CTEC recognitions are scheduled for next week towards the end. I know that some of us have conflicts, even though those are Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I don't certainly want it to be diminished the value, but we'll send out the links to the board in case anybody wants to watch the CTEC recognitions, because I believe that will be live streamed. So we see if I can read my own writing. Oh, so Aaron and I got to meet, Aaron in a different role than what's here on the screen, got to meet with Troy Martin to try to put together our plans for our summer feeding program. Unfortunately, it's going to look a little different. So Aaron and I, Aaron representing the town rec department, are going to try to figure out a way that we can make sure that we can provide breakfast and lunch if we can for our students involved in our summer program. It is not something that the food bank will be able to support this year, but we're going to try to do something and see what we can do about getting resources. It's a loss, but we will still have the summer backpack program, and I appreciate the town rec working with us. I appreciate County Executive Newhouse, and as I said to Troy Martin yesterday, I will be a pebble in his shoe. That's County Executive Newhouse's shoe to make sure that our community and our children's needs are supported moving forward. We were informed that as of now, our funding for the backpack program for next year, it does not exist. So I now have some cajoling to do on that. Sorry for the short report, but that's pretty much what we have for this week.
Hold on. Can I bother you to give the board a quick update on the graduation and moving up ceremony statuses and how different they'll look and who will be included and who won't?
Yes.
And where we stand with that?
Absolutely. I was hoping the principals are going to do that, but I'll give a broad brush and then I'll let them give more details as we move forward. But so we are planning for our commencement ceremony on 23 June at Eisenhower Hall. We will be limited. It's not only due to social distancing, it's due to managing the flow of information, because we have to verify vaccination status as well as testing status for any participant who's going to be going to Eisenhower Hall. So we are limiting to four guests per graduate for that. We have sent out some information for individuals who may need transportation or may have concerns just about accessing the installation. So we'll have some shuttle buses moving for that purpose. The intermediate schools moving up is scheduled for 22 June, and that's a Tuesday. We will actually be doing that at O'Neill, something that we've been trying to work on for the last few years, just trying to get it over there. It's a bigger venue, better parking, and it's symbolic as those students will walk across the stage for the first time at O'Neill. Because of our size, we won't have to do testing and vaccination and verification, but we are limiting that to 2 participants, 2 family members, if you will, per student. Prom is this week. We're very excited about that. A lot of work has gone into prom. I commend Nicole and the whole team and Debbie and Robin for somehow managing to put together a prom. We just received a flyer from, or not a flyer, a Google Doc from BOCES that your districts are sharing what they're doing. Most districts are limiting to 2. They're doing 2 or 3 smaller ceremonies. Our goal was to have all of our students together. They've been together, we want them together. But to do it safely, we'll manage the flow of information as far as vaccination and testing. We'll figure that out. We're gonna have wristbands for graduation. We won't have that for the HFIS moving up, thank goodness, because we won't need it. But we are looking forward to a quote unquote normal ceremony. The times will be shorter, so I won't speak as long as I normally do. I'll ask Mr. Mack to scale it down a little bit, but we're looking forward to a normal-ish ceremony for our students. In person, masks, yep, but in person, and I hope the principals will, and Robin, I think she's on the call, can give more details. Hopefully that helped a little bit in.
Yes, it answered a lot of questions I've been writing.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, thank you. Okay, where's Dr. Tayador? There she is, right in the middle. Hi.
Hello, how is everybody tonight? It's a pleasure to be here.
Okay.
So we are wrapping up the year in terms of the grants that we have received from the federal government for the CRRSA and also the American Rescue Plan. Those grants are due June 15th, and they will go in hopefully Monday. So we're working on that and wrapping up the year in a fantastic way, celebrating our students. The principals are doing great things, bringing together our graduation and moving up ceremonies and rising star ceremonies in 2nd grade. Very exciting time of year. Also looking at different professional learning opportunities that we'll be putting out for the summer for the faculty related to diversity, equity, and inclusion, as well as our ongoing work with the units of study for reading and writing out of Teachers College. So that's what's happening.
Thank you very much. Ms. Sedera?
Hi, how is everybody this evening? On
Hi.
Tuesday, June 1st, we had the bond bid opening. We had 7, I'm going to call them investors, bid on the bonds, and the bond was awarded to Citigroup. The rate was 1.667506%. So I think we were probably around 2.5, 3 when we started talking about this project. So again, I said our rate was going to be was favorable when it was coming in. They actually came in lower than what they projected even last week when Rick Tim's office had done some research on them. So we are in good shape with that. So I'm very pleased with that. So, and I know we're really, Frank and I, with the capital project, we're just trying to wrap things up for June 30th, and we're feverishly trying to get this done. So we got some, I've got the substantial completions ready. I'm going to print them off next week so Frank can sign off on them. June 30th is approaching fastly, so we can get that paperwork in. Otherwise, the business office is just really busy trying to, now that we're working into 2 years, we're working in 2021 and 21-22 simultaneously. So we can start everything, get everything going. So the girls are just, doing the best that they are, that they do, and they're working great. And, we're going to slide into 21-22 with no issues.
How is the state audit? Is that looking like it's going to be done anytime soon? Do you have an estimate on that, an end date?
Well, that's funny because I'm going to switch it to Andrea because they've been looking at IT.
Okay.
Go ahead, Andrea.
So funny is not the word I would use, but yes, we've been having an interesting time with the audit. They have decided to focus on IT, and they've been in for a couple of weeks. It looks like they are in the final phase of that audit. They've requested some documentation that Steph, Keith, and I have prepared for them. We're going to take another quick look at it tomorrow and submit it. But I think we are nearing the completion of that process.
Great news. Great. Thank you. We'll keep our fingers crossed. Okay. And anything else, Denise? No? Okay. Then thank you very much for your report. I'll now turn it over to Mrs. Haberman.
Okay. Couple of highlights from this week. Past week, the spring musical Little Women was a wonderful production at a beautiful location. Although they were rained out on Friday night, there was a 6 or 7 hour break in bad weather that allowed the kids to put on the show. And it was truly a treat. The professional recording of the show will be out in the next few weeks, and we'll put a link out for people to be able to see. It'll be on the website. O'Neill, as Dr. Sheboy said, the senior awards, the various awards presentations were yesterday. The Senior Scholar Athlete Award winners, Ella Collins and Davis Yoshitani. Senior Scholar Humanities Award winners, Claire Kobilski and Justice Crow, were honored yesterday at Goshen Stadium. And the Outstanding Student Award ceremony has been postponed to Wednesday, the 9th. The Junior Senior Prom will be taking place tomorrow night, June 4th, at the Thayer Hotel from 6 to 10 p.m. The virtual presentation of the NHS inductions will be on Monday, June 7th at 6:30. The YouTube link, again, will be punished as I transition from AP in charge of discipline to principal, let me rephrase, will be published on the school website once it's officially determined. So those are the highlights. And Dr. Sheboy gave you all the information for graduation and the prom. The only other thing we're going to need to share with families is that there will be a kind of a drive-through drop-off of materials and supplies that are still in the planning stages. We did this last year because, you know, we remember leaving in March and not coming back to the end of the year, and we had to collect our supplies and materials and equipment and uniforms and all those things. So while we do have a lot of kids in school, and they'll be able to return it to their teachers and coaches and so on, some of our virtual kids need to be given the opportunity to do the same. So we'll set something up and send out that information and times and dates. That's it for me.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Rachel?
Good evening, everyone. I'm excited to be here. That was such a beautiful presentation of the top 10 and top 5. I just can't help but think, like, these are students that have been with us, most of them, for quite a long time. So I can only imagine, you know, them growing up through the district. So I'm excited to see what the future has for the students that are in FMES now that will be moving up through HFIS and JIO. So it's really beautiful. We have our second grade Rising Star ceremony planned for the morning of June 14th. It will be held just with our students and our faculty. It'll be quite intimate for the kids, but it will be recorded. And a huge thank you to Stefan and Keith and Kristen Magyar for helping realize what that could look like and for helping us with the technology component of that, because that is certainly not my strong suit. So I very much appreciate their knowledge and expertise in that area. We also have pre-K registration still underway, and there's plenty of spots left. So if anybody hasn't yet filled out the registration form and sent all the paperwork to Dawn, please do so. And remember, all of the paperwork has to go in to be completely and fully registered. And we're setting up appointments for our dial screening for both our pre-K students that will be starting in the fall, as well as our kindergarten students who are starting in the fall as well. We also have bus orientation scheduled for both of those grade levels in August. So information about that will be coming soon. And there's just a lot of end of year closeout things happening at the Fort, and it's an exciting time. It's a busy time, and we're a little bit sad to see our students move on to the intermediate school, but excited for their future.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. McElduff.
Yes, all right, great. So similar to what Robin had said, Dr. Sheboy touched on a lot of the information for our 8th grade moving up ceremony. I'm just kind of skimming my notes again, and I think you truly did catch everything for the 8th grade moving up ceremony. We will be sharing an updated letter with families that will be going out tomorrow, and Mrs. Papa will also be mailing it home with some other information. We shared our information about 2 or 3 weeks ago to families, but now that has all changed, and again, Dr. Sheboy went over that, so we will be sharing that out tomorrow with families. So that is one thing. Our 5th grade moving along ceremony is going to be scheduled for June 16th, similar to what Mrs. Adelstein is doing at the Fort. We're going to hold that virtually. We're going to have it pre-recorded, and we're going to celebrate the students and share that video. We're not going to have families in for that. The 5th grade team, along with Mrs. Maldonado and Mrs. Hannigan, have planned an excellent day on the 16th, field day for the students for 5th grade, ice cream, pizza, mini award ceremony, so that they have a full day of fun, and really it's making it about the students that day, and that's super exciting. The rest of the school will have field day grades 3 through 6 the week of June 14th. Information was shared out with staff earlier this week. We'll be sharing out some information with the students in our morning announcements all of next week. And yeah, I think as of right now, that's a lot. We got a lot going on. We're excited. So yeah, again, all information will be shared with families via Class Dojo and email. And all of our information is also shared out every morning with our students in our morning announcements. We are actually able to post most of them on Class Dojo. Some of the videos for morning announcements we can't if they go over a certain time frame. So sometimes I talk too much. And I will stop talking now and turn it back over to you.
Okay, Rachel, did you want to add something?
I did. I had one more thing I wanted to share. Mr. McElduff, Mrs. Maldonado, and I have been working on coordinating all the details for the Summer Learning Academy. So we have all of the registrants in place. They're there. We have faculty, and we're still in recruitment for that, but we do have a good amount of faculty ready to go. We will be sharing a letter with families outlining the logistics for the program by the end of next week. So we have already coordinated with Aaron at Town Rec, and we're excited for that partnership. But we do want to let families know information about the details will be coming very, very soon to Class Dojo and to backpacks.
Great.
And I just want, if I can, and real quick, just to backpack off for Rachel. I did meet with Rachel and Mike last week, just about how we can coordinate both programs into one continuous flowing program, so that the children of the community can experience both without having to choose between one or the other. So we started to put that information out. If you haven't gotten it yet, be on the lookout. And we are continuing our summer rec signups this Saturday at Brooks Park, 9 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Beth?
Hi, everyone. When I was listening to all of the students, I was thinking, I don't know, Dr. Taylor and Mrs. Edelstein, if you thought this too, but I thought, I don't think I had 102 average to get into Binghamton. So I'm glad that I went when I went. So we're finishing up annual reviews. We have a few more next week, and then we'll be done with those. And you have a board report tonight. You'll have one again next week, and then another one on July 8th, just as we finish up all day annual review meetings. The nicest lab testing is just about done. We were able to bring in some of our kids who are virtual, cooperation between the building principals and the ELL teachers, as well as transportation. We were able to bring students in and have anyone who wanted to be tested receive the testing. So that was great. And that's really it.
Okay, well, thank you very much. The one thing I wanted to say publicly, for anyone who's out there watching, or anyone who's out there listening, or anyone who ends up watching later on, the amount of effort, time, and just thought that needs to go into all of these end of the year celebrations and recognitions is really, I mean, last year was tough. We did it all driving around in cars, and we did the best we could. This year, we're doing it different again. It's a totally new set. So it's not just like pull out your notebook from last year and let's have our graduation. It's not like that. Everything has to be rethought out, replanned, and the amount of time that it takes, I mean, I know it does. I know how much time and effort it takes. So I just want to publicly thank everyone in our district that worked so hard to make it special, and well deservedly so for the children. So thank you for that. And before we move on to our committee reports, Dr. Sheboy, can you give us a brief facilities update?
Yeah, so first off, Jim couldn't make it this evening. He does send regrets. On the facilities note, the board will be asked to approve a director, which is a good thing, and really want to thank Jim for everything he has done for the district and will continue to do through his time working with us. He's been fantastic in filling that role of interim, and really appreciate it. But just let the board know, we did go out for bids on some additional work at O'Neill. Those bids, the second time we went out, still are high. So in the near future, I'll probably be asking the board to reject those bids. We still have some change orders that we anticipate coming through, and in order to do any of the work, you have to finish up the phases that we're currently working on, as opposed to taking on new work. It's imperative that we don't overspend the project. That being said, once we have fully completed what we have, then we'll know how much is left, and we'll be able to truly establish a scope. And whether it's through a bid or through its cooperative purchasing, through Jim Floors or what have you, obviously we're going to utilize the funds to benefit O'Neill. But as of now, I'm not going to be making a recommendation for those bids that were put out. It wouldn't be responsible to not be able to fund it. On another note, Jim has been working very closely with Savin and BCA on punch list items. And while a lot of it is still cosmetic, you can still see work going on outside. There's also some electrical work that we're finalizing, and that has been the nature of change orders. It will continue to be the nature of change orders, but it's also work that had to get done for this project to move forward. So while I'm not happy about not being able to get everything I want, anything additional is more than what we had originally planned. So I don't have any more detail on that, but just wanted to make sure the board had that. And again, we're just looking forward to moving forward with our cleaning protocols for the summer, any additional work. Looking forward to visioning for the future. So, and we will be having I'll say this on a facilities committee, but we are planning a facilities committee meeting so that we can talk about a bunch of things.
Okay, so, and I know we'll try to go through our committee reports fairly quickly because we just gave them not that long ago. But I know there was a massive redo of the policies. You guys worked hard on that. We're all reviewing those as we speak. Is there any update that you'd like to give on from the policy committee?
No, other than the fact that the Google Doc, for some reason, did not survive the email, but we were able to go back through, finalize, sent it out in a Word doc today for everybody. Erie One Boasties has it. Hope would be that if there's any revisions that we want to suggest, we would get it and have full adopt of the revised policy at reorg on 8 July.
Thank you. Wellness, health, and safety. I don't think
there has not been a meeting. We only have one this year.
Thank you. Audit committee, we already got our update. Facilities committee, we're going to have a meeting. Frank just gave us our update, an upcoming meeting. Diversity and equity. Again, they're
when is the
forward.
facilities meeting? And when's the facilities meeting?
It hasn't been
When is
scheduled
the
yet.
facilities meeting?
It's going to be scheduled. Not yet scheduled.
Thank you.
Okay. The next one is AXPA and NISBA. So go ahead, Faith.
Yeah, mine is a little.
Yeah, hold on one second, Faith. Okay, hold on, Julie. Go ahead, because we still have our agenda. I mean, we'll just wait till you get to your next destination, okay?
Okay, I'm gonna run and then I'll sign right back in 10 to 12 minutes, okay? Thank you. Okay.
All right, just be careful. Take your time. Be careful.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye. Okay. Sorry, Faith.
Nope, that's okay. So there was an AXPA meeting that happened last night, and in the spirit of all of this end of year recognition, the recognition that happened last night was specific to district clerks and administrative assistants. So Marissa participated in that meeting along with us and was recognized along with the other district clerks within the county for all of the great work that they do. So they were recognized and honored, which was really nice. They also reflected on those board members who are retiring. So Jimmy, your name was read off, as well as Colonel Marson as well, as board members that are leaving service. So that was a nice evening. We had a keynote speaker who was Fred Lagstaff, who is the president of NISBA currently. He gave a nice presentation of just some current events that are going on within the world of NISBA. There was talk about the convention that's coming up in October, which we did talk about, and we'll have to make some decisions as to whether or not we plan to attend. Convention itself is in person in New York City in October. The annual meeting is a week before that, and it will be virtual. So I will at least participate in that, and then we can decide as far as in-person participation, in the coming weeks. Fred offered some information about some pilot programs that NISBA is rolling out, some committees that they've put together, and two in particular were pretty interesting. Of course, they're working on diversity, equity, and inclusion, just as we are as well. And we are fortunate that one of our executive committee members from OXPA is representing OXPA on that committee. So hopefully there'll be a good flow and exchange of information of the work that they're doing, at that state level. The other pilot program that they're working on is in relationship to civics and engagement around civil discord. So that will be really interesting too, to see what comes out of that. And that's really in regards to, say, like the last election, where it was you're either with me or you're completely against me. And, just how that trickles down to children and how things, social justice, all of those things can be fostered and explored in a positive way in the school community. So that'll be interesting. Their upcoming meetings are focusing on social and emotional health, mental health, and also on implicit bias. So they're focusing on that. He shared information that there were 500 new board members that were elected in the state of New York in this past election, which we all thought was kind of high. But actually, they said that seems to be the average over the last several years. 500 statewide seems to be the average, although we all agreed in Orange County that there were some local elections that were somewhat contentious and got a little ugly over social media. And we felt that our turnover locally in Orange County, at least the members of OXPA, felt that our numbers were a little more high than traditional. And I think that's it. Oh, they approved the new slate of officers, which I will continue to be the treasurer for OXPA as well. So that's it.
Thank you for representing us on that board. It's really very interesting. I don't get to listen that often. Also, thank you for writing the very special write-up for Marissa. I know she was touched by it. So thank you for writing that on our behalf, Faith. Okay, the next is, where is Mrs. Crowe? She's still with us. Okay, Mrs. Crowe, it's on you.
Hello.
Hi.
First, I do want to thank everyone for all that you did for me for the field dedication. It was an absolutely beautiful day, and I couldn't ask for the memories that I will cherish forever. So thank you very much. In regards, I think everyone has already talked about the Scholar Athlete celebration yesterday. It really was a beautiful thing. Nice to be at Goshen with their facility, and it was a little hot, and we were happy that it was at 9 o'clock in the morning, so we got through it. Our spring seasons are winding down. We girls lacrosse will play Burke next, I think, Wednesday for the section championship. Our boys lacrosse team, unfortunately, don't have a contender, so they will win the Section 9 championship for the third year in a row. So congratulations to them. Our track teams will be competing next Wednesday at Monroe Woodbury. We were hoping it would be at O'Neill, but because of our field events, the throwing area is not being completed, it will be at Monroe. Anybody who is listening, Section 9 has ruled that there are no spectators at those culminating events. Softball and baseball, they will start either Saturday of this week or Monday of next week. It all depends on how many teams are in. Our paperwork has all been turned in. I helped the coaches make sure that they had their numbers correct, even though math is not my forte. I still used my computer today or calculator today to help. And that's about all that we have for now. So if you have any questions for me, happy to answer.
I do, Deb. It's Ann. Can you just touch on, I know there's been a lot of talk about heat levels. Can you just publicly let the community know again what the heat levels are for next week? That contest will be canceled or postponed or whatever the word is?
I actually just have it up right now because it got submitted to us today. And I did share it with Dr. Sheboy, Debbie Brand, and Robin, and yourself, Ann. And basically what they were doing was if the real field temperature reaches 96 or higher, then all practices and games must be stopped. And you would have to resume once the real field temperature goes down. How they determine the real field temperature, they use the app called WeatherBug. We're not real happy with WeatherBug, but that's what the state is using. And so we have to check that prior to game time and make our accommodations. They also talked about masks. And that is something that will be discussed with Dr. Shiboy and the administration in regards to, it's supposed to be in the 90s next week. So it has been difficult at times. So we're going to have to wait and see what our district wants to do with the use of masks. But,
Yeah, and if I could just add to that, just full disclosure, New York State has not changed the mask policy, nor has the New York State Public High School Athletic Association. So therefore, neither has Orange County Department of Health. And I know that there are, individuals who, have the concerns about children, whether they're athletes or children on recess or outdoor PE, wearing masks. I would say that we share those concerns, and we are continuing to advocate for some relief in some of those policies and protocols. Again, as responsible parties, it is incumbent upon the district, including the superintendent and the board, to act in accordance with the guidance and the guidelines of New York State Department of Health, the New York State Athletic Association, Department of Health from Orange County, and in concert with our district physician. So.
And I do want to add to that, if I may, and I'm sorry, Debbie, for cutting you off. I know the board and the community has been asking, when are we going back to public meetings in person, board meetings in person? Again, until the state tells us that we don't need to wear masks in school, it is extremely difficult to have in-person board meetings. And while other districts might not require masks, we are going by the guidance of New York State, Orange County Health Department, just as Dr. Shiboy has explained. So until it's very difficult when you're speaking into a microphone, getting recorded with masks on, and where it doesn't matter how far you're spread out in the room, if we're in the school, we need to have our masks on. So it's just the way that it is. And until that changes, we can't possibly put on a board meeting that people could understand us and meet all the needs that we need to be in requirements. So we're keeping on trying, but until something gives, it's where we are. So go ahead, Mrs. Crowe.
No, all I was going to add to it was that the officials have been great, especially with your lacrosse games, taking more timeout breaks for the athletes. And if a child needs to remove a mask because he's having a hard time, they go over away from everybody else and just take a little quick break or clean their face with some water. So we haven't really had any issues whatsoever. And hopefully we can get through next week with the same.
Thank you. Yep. Thank you. Go ahead, Ned.
Mrs. Crowe, what was the temperature for not playing the games?
A temperature of the real field temperature of 96 degrees. You're going to see when you go on any website, weather website, it'll say the temperature outside is 85, but the real field temperature is 95 because the humidity, we used to use different kinds of equipment to test the humidity, and the humidity brings the real field temperature up. But the real field temperature, 96. Practices will stop and games.
We could go,
and my coaches will know
if we wanted. Could we not?
As a district,
that's mandatory, but we could, if it was determined in the interest of the athletes that less than 95 or 96 was beneficial.
You could. One of the things that I've done in the past, and I will do next week if I have to, if a game is scheduled at 4 o'clock, then I'll move the game to 5, or I'll move the game to 5:30, with looking at the computer to tell me if the temperature is going to be dropping. So that's one option too.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, and we also have the ability, since we have both fields, to do more of that shifting to later. So yeah.
Yeah, time.
Yep.
Yeah, time. Thank you.
Yep.
Federal government funding, we have our meeting in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Oh my God, I think it's almost 2 weeks now. I mean, it's coming soon. They're also put out a survey on what we thought we would want to do in September. We would like to remain in person, or I'm sorry, virtual or in person. I filled out the survey on behalf of the district and said, and I'm sure Frank, I don't know if you responded to, but I said, whatever works, whatever you decide, we will be there virtually or whatever. I think by then they're hoping that Washington opens up a little bit and we can actually knock on some doors. Okay.
Hey, Ann. Hey, real quick. Real quick. I know with the federal funding, I know this year we're going through some changes in leadership in our own district. I know in the next couple of years, probably the same thing. I just want to put it out there to my other fellow board members that I would like to take, a few steps and getting my feet wet with the federal funding in Washington and learning how that works. I plan to be around for a while. I'm thankful the community elected me for another 3 years, so I look forward to that. But I think it's important for someone, or for a few people at the minimum, to learn that aspect of our funding and to be able to advocate for us in the future. So with the support of my fellow board members, I would like to start doing that.
So we could definitely talk about that when we do our committees, when we set up our committees. That's a great thing. Also, I know for this meeting, Denise, is it free to join for you and I to join for this one? Is it free?
The FLISA virtual was no charge.
There's no charge? Okay, right. So we can potentially, if we wanted to, Aaron, I can share my login with you for this upcoming FLISA for you to at least just listen in and see what it's like. It's a bit different from the DC type meetings, but it's important. And the thing is, once the calendars come out, it's you have to make yourself available. So it's easier to know ahead of time. So once they start getting those calendars out, we can definitely be sure to share.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to listen in, and I have the support of my family to make myself available for those times.
So it's something the board should talk about. If they'd like me to step away and replace it with Aaron, that's something.
Oh, I'm not looking to take over yet. I'm looking to just kind of just looking to learn about it a little bit and get my feet. No, I'm not at all looking to take over.
Okay.
At one point in the future, maybe,
Okay, because I know it's expensive for all of us to go. It's too expensive for more than one board member to go. But what I like about it is potentially taking turns if they're going to start doing it virtually, which I see some of these meetings being available virtually going forward. The other thing is a lot of the districts talked about it at the last meeting that we were at in person, that it's very expensive to ask somebody to fly across the country for a one-day meeting. And we did ask for remote, and they were very much against it. They were like, oh no, this and that. But now I really don't see how they can say no to remote. Everyone's been doing it. They've been running their business without it. So thank you. And it's definitely something that we'll talk about at our when we talk about our committees. That's
and again,
great.
the work you do is incredible and great, and I don't want to take away from that. I want to learn from you.
That's perfect. Thank you. Good. So the state funding advocacy is sort of the same thing right now. We have to wait until things quiet down. Right now, we're not in bad shape with our state funding. As long as things don't take a dive or take a 360 turn, we'll continue to support and stay in contact with and advocate with our locally elected officials. Local government liaison, anything from you, James?
Just a quick question, and maybe Dr. Sheboy can. What's the amount of funding that you need for the backpack program? Is there a magic number?
So the backpack program is not the one that's the issue. It's the lunch program, Jim.
How much is the lunch program?
I'd have to punch numbers with Denise. If we did it, through Aramark or something like that, it's one. I mean, Aaron and I were just tossing around ideas. We'd go buy cases of Pop-Tarts from BJ's and juice and something. So, Denise and I could crunch numbers and see if Airmark can give us a price, but I don't have that information top of my head.
Okay, and that comes directly from the county?
No, so the summer feeding program that we had a couple years back where the kids got the grab and go breakfast and lunch at Town Rec, that was coming from the USDA grant through the food pantry. It was a great grant. The backpack program is one that has benefited our kids for the past 5 years, and that came, County Executive Newhouse funded that for us, and I thought we had another year on that grant, but apparently we did not. And in addition, the Town of Highlands, the food pantry program that they've been running through the American Legion, now the Senior Center, their funding runs out. And that, again, like I said, I'm gonna be a pebble in Steve's shoe, but that's, I want to say $6 per week per backpack per child is what it costs for us to run the backpack program. I don't know what the cost is for the food pantry that Aaron was coordinating with the town, but that's what it is, about $6 per child per week per backpack.
And that came from the county through a grant that they had gotten?
Absolutely did. Yeah. The County Executive Newhouse was very generous. Again, the initial funding was for 3 years. Then they extended it. They must have extended it again. I thought they extended it for another 3 years, but apparently that was not the case.
They did, Frank. I swear they did.
I thought they did too.
Can you get me that number? Can you get me that number of what it was, what we need for it to function?
Yeah, I can tell you what it is. Absolutely, I can get that for you. Yeah. Yep.
That was it.
Thank you. Jim, do you want both the cost of the backpack sustainable program as well as Aaron's program as well as the breakfast lunch for the summer, or are you just looking for
whatever the county was funding?
Okay. All right. Perfect. Because Denise, correct me if I'm wrong, but last year our program for feeding during the summer was part of the summer program, and Airmark provides that. Is that correct? No. Okay.
We didn't
Then it
do
was
any,
the same
we
program
didn't feed
last
it all
year.
last
Aaron.
summer.
Thank you.
Okay. The West Point Community Council, oh, I'm sorry, Factor Liaison. No news, correct, Denise?
Wait, yes.
Oh.
Yeah, Ned had asked me to check on, Ned asked me to check on progress. Due to COVID, there has not been any progress on these cases.
Can't hear. Could you start again? I couldn't hear any of that.
Due to COVID, there has not been any progress on the tax certs. I've been in contact with Bill Duquette, so everything is still status quo.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
How many pending individual cases are there?
There were only 4 or 5 that we had from probably a year ago that they're still sitting out there, but then I don't know what's going to happen come July.
Would you be able to get that out to Jimmy and myself? Just reiterate the ones that we had pending. Perhaps we could have a virtual or some other phone meeting before Jimmy goes off. I think it would be beneficial if he was part of that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. The West Point Community Council Liaison, we haven't had a meeting. And then Dr. Sheboy, our community engagement report.
So Mr. Mack attended our community coalition meeting for us last week. I don't know if he wants to give a brief update. The principals worked very hard on community engagement, and I cannot wait until September when we can start to hopefully get back to a little bit more of what we were trying to do as far as just bringing our community into our schools. So, but I'll ask Mr. Mack just briefly to talk about the community coalition meeting, and then I'll leave that as my report for tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're speaking specifically about the marijuana legislation that was part of the community. Okay, yeah, I don't have my notes in front of me, but it was extremely informative about the legalization of selling and distributing and possessing marijuana in the state of New York, which did get passed. The town and the village, I believe, has till December 31st to make a determination or vote whether or not to allow a business to come into our community. So that was a big conversation that really had. And then towards the end, they started talking about educating our students and our community more about it, as well as doing some more research and getting data on the effects from other states that this has had on communities, and whether it's from simple traffic violations to drug overdoses and et cetera, et cetera. So it was extremely informative because I did not have a lot of knowledge on it. So I was very interested in hearing about it, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the next steps are as they were getting ready to create an action plan, but they ran out of time. So that's all I have. I do have some more detailed notes, but I just don't have them in front of me.
Yeah, I put you on the spot, Mike, but
That wasn't nice, Frank.
He'll learn. But I would say that the Community Coalition is a great organization. It does connect us with all sorts of partners in the community, whether it's law enforcement, faith-based, just community leaders, the center. And it is a group of caring people. And I would encourage anybody who is concerned about substances, and we're not necessarily talking about substances connected to the school. If you go back and look at the demographic for opioid overdose, it's not our children in our schools. It is an older demographic, about a generation removed from that. So, the Community Coalition has a logical connection to our school as far as just making sure that we are educating our children on the dangers of substance abuse and things such as that. And we'll continue to be part of that as long as it exists in the community. So.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I think at this point we are ready to go on to our consent agenda. Denise, do you want it? I mean, can you do it or you want me to take it?
I sure can read it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Use of the consent agenda permits the Board of Education to make more effective use of its time by adopting a single motion to cover those relatively routine matters which are included. Any member of the board who wishes to discuss individually a particular piece of business on the consent agenda may so indicate, and that item will be considered and voted on separately, thus preserving the right of all board members to be heard on any issue. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the following consent agenda as submitted by the Superintendent of Schools, items number 2 to 39.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion. Second, are there any questions on items 2 through 39?
I have some questions. Number 11, the Capital Reserve Fund, the placing of $3.5 million into that fund. Where did they come from that make up the 3.5 million, and is the total of the 3.5 include several funding sources?
Frank, you want me to address that?
Yeah, Denise, if you could.
Okay, so Ned, due to COVID, when it started in the 2019-20 school year and then it continued into the 2021 school year, the district had received some revenues that had received revenues, a little bit more revenues than expected, but then our expenditures were not where we expected them to be due to COVID. So because our fund balance grew, we have $3.5 million that we could fund into the capital reserve to help offset future debt. For example, if the board decides to do a referendum in, say, October of 2021 for the Fort Montgomery Elementary School. So it's just fund balance that the district has, that it's a good use to put it into that reserve for future use.
And that's the new reserve that we just got approved
Correct.
to create, correct? Yeah. So I just want
Those
the
that I named.
community to understand that. Yes, thank you.
And I was going to ask for that clarification from Denise too, because the previous capital reserve that we had in 2015, which was originally $7 million, I believe, Denise, we had maxed that out at the end of the 2018-19 school year. And though we had savings from last year and obviously savings from this year, remember utility prices, oil prices, were not what we were budgeting at, but now they are, and I'm glad we were budgeting at them for this year. But that's where some of those monies came from, and we haven't had a spot to put those additional unencumbered funds. So that's why we have that now.
And the one thing I did want to ask, and then Ned can go on with his questions and not ask, but a comment on, I appreciate the strategic and financially sound decisions that were made with the help of our auditors and yourself, Denise, and Dr. Taylor and Dr. Sheboy, for putting the funds where they're needed and best suited on a number of these line items. I know there was a lot of thought and time and effort that went into it, and I thank you, your team, and also our auditors for their advice and counsel, which is what we use them for. So thank you for that. So go ahead, Mr. Copold.
Were some of the funds from the foundation aid that finally came through from the state?
Those are revenues for next school year, Ned? Correct me if I'm wrong, Denise. Those are revenues for next school year. So the simple answer to that question is they may have been from foundation aid that was unencumbered or unspent last year because our expenditures were lower and our revenues were where they should have been, but they're not increases in foundation aid in next year's budget and hopefully the following year as we get made whole. So
Correct.
The short answer to that question is they may have been from previous year's foundation aid, but not from the increase in foundation aid that we were anticipating and now we received for this year and for hopefully the following year. Hope that makes sense.
Thank you, Frank. It does. Thank
Any
you.
more questions, Ned?
Yeah. What are the details that are referred to in number 12, the reserve fund plan that said, which is part of, refers to being part of the agenda, which I didn't see the details of the plan. Do a quick summary.
Denise, do you want to go through them or you want me to?
I had to just open it up.
Yeah, I have it in front of me if you want.
Okay, go ahead, Frank.
So Ned, hopefully you can hear me. The reserve for retirement services for ERS, our balance at the end of last year was $400,000. We're anticipating recommending it to be $400,000 for next year. No change. Our billing was about $330,000 for that. The I like to call it EBLAR, the employee benefits liability for things such as retirement, sick day payouts, all of those accrued liabilities that the district might have. At the end of last year, that balance was about $420,000. Our recommendation is we just leave that there. It should be funded at 100% of the accrued liability. That's what auditors recommend. The reserve for unemployment insurance. Remember, as you have reductions in force, you have unemployment claims against the district. So our balance at the end of last year was $100,000. Current expenditures about $25,000, and recommendation is that we just keep it at that $100,000. You never know when there might be an unanticipated need for increases in unemployment. The capital reserve we just referred to, and Denise made that recommendation and I support it, and so does our auditor, that we bring that to 3.5 million. The tax certiorari reserve is was funded at about $600,000 last year. It is recommended to be at about the same thing this year. It is funded for the amount of our liabilities and our exposure. That's the right word. I think Julie might be nodding, but I'm looking at a piece of paper, but exposure, if all of those were awarded in the favor of the agent or agency that was filing a tax cert. The TRS, which is actually an extension of the ERS reserve, we're allowed to put a certain amount of money into that based on payroll. So we're not allowed to contribute more than 2% per year of payroll of individuals who are members of TRS. At the end of last school year, our balance in that account was $402,500, so $402,596. Our billing for TRS for this school year was $1,059,200 roughly. And our recommendation is to just boost that. And what those reserves do is when there is an unanticipated increase in the contribution rates, which does happen, the board will remember that while they're pretty low right now, about 11% in East, 12%, we've had times where they have gone to 18%. And those reserves help smooth out the budgetary process in the event of one of those reserve bubbles or bumps. So that's what that plan speaks to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have any other questions on those, Ned?
If you could just briefly enlighten me on the professional in education program, number 25.
Absolutely. And that's something I'll throw it to Dr. Teodor in a minute. But for years and years, Andrea and I have been talking, and the principals have been talking about the fact that we bring our new teachers in, and as per statute, we provide them with 1 year of mentor support. And we've been talking about how do we maintain that so that we avoid what we would call in sports a sophomore slump. So Andrea and I talked about how do we continue to provide professional support for second-year teachers and maybe even third year in the future. What we've done in the past is when we identified a teacher who needed some additional support, we would just put that person back in the second year of mentoring. But we recognize that a lot of teachers, even though they're professionals, they've been educated, they've worked here, they've had a great mentor one-on-one, they would benefit from a collaborative cohort model in year 2. And I'm throwing it to Andrea because she's smarter than I am. So we'll go for that.
Thank you
about that. But we're excited about expanding the program. We've been talking about this for a long time, adding a second year. And like Dr. Shiboy said, hopefully adding a third year as well, and continue to support our new teachers, because the first year is really getting your feet wet, right? So how do you continue to grow and continue to, improve your practice and to manage all the responsibilities in your classroom and grow as a professional. So that's the idea behind the second year of the program. And we're pretty excited about it. And really, it's an opportunity to support our new teachers even more as they come into our district.
Thanks very much. Good program.
Thank you. Excellent program. Anything else, Ned?
No, that's it. Thank you.
You're welcome. I have a motion. Oh, any other questions? Yes, Gus?
Quick question to Denise. In regards to item number 16, do you remember what the kilowatt hour was last year that the district bought at? I think it was like, my gut feel, I think it was like 6 cents a kilowatt hour. But I mean, if you don't have an answer for it.
I don't recall right now, but it's been pretty flat. That's why they were been favorable, but I could look into that for you.
I mean, I'm just curious because, in regards to what's happening all around us, especially with the closing of Indian Point, but that might not have any effect on our energy use. So, yeah.
Gus, it was 8 cents per kilowatt hour or less last year.
Okay.
$4 cap for natural gas per MMBTU, and for natural gas commodity on NYMEX Henry Hub, 3.95 mm per BTU.
Okay, so
it's
only
the
went up
same.
half a cent. All right, that's fine. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Any opposed?
Right.
Motion carries. Okay, I'd like to congratulate, thank you for sticking it out with us, Ms. Susskind. Thank you. I congratulate you for accepting and going to be the assistant principal at the high school for us. So we're very much looking forward to you working with Mrs. Haberman.
Thank you so much. I just want to thank you for your support, for allowing me to continue to serve the district in a new capacity for this coming year. I really look forward to working with Robin. I think we're a good team. Thank you so much.
Yes, we know you're a good team, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. So at this time, I think we get to adjourn into executive session. Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education does hereby recess into executive session for the purpose of discussing collective negotiations under the Taylor Law with the Town of Highlands Teachers Association and the employment history of a particular individual. The board will not return to open session to take action.
Motion.
So moved.
I have a motion. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Good.